We all carry a past. Childhood memories, choices we made when we were young, words someone once said to us, moments we wish we could take back. There is no one in this world who lives without a past. But the problem is not the past itself. The real problem is that we cannot let it go. Even though it is already over, even though it has already ended, our minds keep going back there. Like touching an old wound again and again, we pull out memories from the past and feel the same pain every time. Think about it for a moment. Right now, as you are watching this video, there is probably at least one memory in your mind that makes your chest feel heavy whenever you think of it. A moment you regret, a choice you wish you had made differently, a time when you hurt someone or someone hurt you. Whether it happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even yesterday, your mind does not care about the distance of time. To the mind, there is no past or present. The moment you remember something, it feels as real as if it is happening right now. That is why we suffer. People often say that time heals everything. They say if you wait long enough, you will forget. If enough time passes, you will be fine. But is that really true? Even after 10 or 20 years, there are still memories sitting quietly in a corner of your heart. Time does not erase memories. Time only piles new memories on top of old ones. And the ones buried underneath come back up at unexpected moments. When you face a similar situation, when you hear similar words, when you feel a similar emotion, the past comes alive as if it is happening right now. This is not just your problem. This is something every human being goes through. The mind has a nature of holding on. Whether the memory is good or bad, the mind does not want to let go. It holds on to good memories because it wants to feel that way again. It holds on to bad memories because it does not want to go through that again. Either way, the result is the same. We become tied to the past. Even though we are living in this present moment, our minds are stuck somewhere in the past. The Buddha called this attachment. Attachment is not simply liking something. Attachment is a state where the mind clings to something and cannot let go. And one of the most powerful objects of attachment is our memories of the past. We cling to past successes. We cling to past failures. We cling to past relationships. We cling to the person we used to be. All of that attachment pulls us out of the present and locks us inside a time that has already disappeared. If your mind feels heavy right now because of some memory from the past, it is not because you are weak. It is because your mind has not yet learned how to let go. And that is something you can learn. Letting go is not a talent you are born with. It is a wisdom that grows through practice. But we will talk about that a little later. For now, let us look more deeply at what a mind trapped in the past looks like. A mind trapped in the past usually shows up in two ways. The first is regret. If only I had made a different choice. If only I had not said those words. If only I had not met that person. These thoughts keep going around and around. And the more they go around, the heavier the mind becomes. Regret is wanting to change the past, while knowing that the past cannot be changed. That is why regret never ends. You are trying to change something that cannot be changed, so, of course, it never stops. The second is blame. If that person had not done that to me, if that person had helped me, if it were not for that person, my life would have been different. This is another form of a mind trapped in the past. Blame is looking for the cause of your pain in someone else. But no matter how much you blame, the past does not change. Blame only makes the present mind more miserable. The Buddha said that holding on to blame is like holding a hot coal in your hand. The only one getting burned is you. Caught between regret and blame, our minds wander through the past. And while they wander there, we are missing the present moment. The beautiful things right in front of us, the precious people beside us, the amazing fact that we are breathing right now, we cannot see any of it because the shadow of the past is covering our eyes. That is the saddest thing about a mind trapped in the past. It is not that the past is causing pain. It is that the past is stealing the present. But a mind trapped in the past is not the only thing that causes us suffering. There is another force in our minds that is just as powerful as the pull of the past. It is the fear of a future that has not yet arrived. If the past holds us from behind, the future threatens us from ahead. If attachment to the past shows up as regret and blame, attachment to the future shows up as worry and anxiety. And honestly, very few people living in the modern world go through a single day without worrying about the future. Will things work out tomorrow? Should I keep doing this job? What if my health gets worse? What if I run out of money? What if I lose someone I love? What happens when I get old? These worries pass through the mind dozens, even hundreds of times a day. Sometimes anxiety grows quietly in a corner of the mind. without us even noticing. On the outside, we may look fine, but deep inside, the fear of the future is always crouching there. Think about why worry about the future is so powerful. It is because the future is unknown. The past has already happened, so at least we know what took place. But the future is completely unknown. No one knows what will happen tomorrow, where they will be in a month, or what their life will look like in a year. And the human mind fears what it cannot know. Not knowing means not being able to control, and the mind reads that as danger. So the mind tries to predict the future. It imagines things that have not happened yet and pictures the worst possible outcomes. What if this happens? What if that happens? This word "what if" is where anxiety begins. After what if, there is always something that has not happened yet. And because of something that has not happened, we are suffering right now in this moment. Think about how strange this really is. Right now in this moment, you are safe. Right now you are breathing, you are watching this video, you are alive. Nothing bad is happening to you right now. And yet your mind is troubled. Why? Because your mind is not here right now. It has gone somewhere in the future that has not arrived. And in that future, it is already experiencing pain that has not happened. The Buddha described this as the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain that actually happens. Everyone experiences pain in life. That cannot be avoided. But the second arrow is the one we shoot at ourselves. We worry ahead of time about pain that has not happened, and we replay pain that has already passed. We shoot the second arrow at ourselves. And in most cases, the second arrow hurts more than the first. Because the second arrow has no end. Real pain passes, but worry does not pass. Worry is created by the mind. And as long as the mind does not stop, worry continues. Modern society makes this worry even bigger. The news pours out anxious stories every day. The economy is struggling, jobs are disappearing, the environment is falling apart. The world is getting more dangerous. Hearing this kind of news several times a day makes our minds fear the future even more. Social media shows us other people's success and happiness, and watching that makes us wonder if our own future will be okay. We live in a flood of information, but that information is not making us feel safe. It is making us more anxious. And this anxiety affects the body too. People who worry a lot have trouble sleeping. When they lie down at night, all kinds of worries start running through their heads. Things to do tomorrow, something important next week, problems that have not been solved. The body is tired, but the mind cannot rest. So they wake up in the middle of the night. And the moment they open their eyes, the worry starts again. When this goes on for a long time, both body and mind become exhausted. And yet the worry does not stop. Because the mind believes that worry is keeping us safe, that we need to worry in order to be prepared. But let me ask you honestly, of all the things you have worried about in your life, how many of them actually happened? Most of your worries never came true. And even the things that did happen rarely happened the way you imagined they would. Worry is not a way of predicting the future. Worry is an illusion created by the mind. And because of that illusion, we are losing the peace of this present moment. Regret about the past, worry about the future. These two things pull our minds in opposite directions. Between past and future, the mind has no rest. But these two forms of suffering share a common root. That root is the desire to control. Regret about the past and worry about the future may look completely different on the surface. One looks back at what has already gone. The other looks ahead at what has not yet come. One turns around, the other reaches forward. But if you look deeper, you will see that they both come from the same root. That root is the desire to control. Regretting the past is the desire to control the past. Thinking, if only I had made a different choice, means wanting to control the version of yourself that existed back then. Wanting to undo what has already been done. But the past cannot be undone. You know this in your head, but the mind cannot accept it. So you repeat the same regret over and over. Worrying about the future is the desire to control the future. If this happens, I will do this. If that happens, I will do that. The mind endlessly creates scenarios. It wants to prepare for everything, to control every possibility before it arrives. But the future does not come the way we imagine. Life does not flow according to our plans. You know this too, but again, the mind cannot accept it. The desire to control is one of the deepest human instincts. We learn about control from a very young age. If you work hard, you will get good results. If you plan well, you will succeed. If you prepare well, you will not fail. We grow up believing these things, and to some degree, they are true. Effort and planning and preparation do matter. But the problem is that we extend this belief too far. We start to believe that we can control everything. But life is full of things that cannot be controlled. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control another person's heart. You cannot control the fact that your body grows old. You cannot keep the people you love beside you forever. The things we can actually control in life are only a very small part of the whole, and yet we try to control everything. And when we try to control what cannot be controlled, suffering is born. The Buddha saw this clearly. Everything changes. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching. Because everything changes, nothing stays the same forever. The past is what has already changed. The future is what has not yet come. Trying to undo what has changed and trying to grab what has not arrived, that is the cause of suffering. It is like trying to hold flowing water in your hands. No matter how tightly you squeeze, the water slips through your fingers. And while you struggle to hold the water, you miss the beautiful scenery along the river. The suffering created by the desire to control goes deeper than we think. When we try to control what cannot be controlled, we feel powerless. Why can I not change this? Why can I not make this work? This feeling of powerlessness turns into self-blame. Self-blame turns into anger, and anger turns into an even stronger need to control. In this cycle, the mind becomes more and more tired and rigid. Rigid does not mean strong. It means losing flexibility. It means the mind is hardening. So what should we do? Does this mean we should give up trying? Does this mean we should make no effort at all? That is not what this means. What we are talking about here is the wisdom to know the difference between what can be controlled and what cannot. The past that has already gone cannot be controlled. The future that has not yet come cannot be fully controlled. But right now in this moment, you can notice where your mind is going. That noticing is the beginning of letting go. Letting go, releasing. These words are perhaps the most common words in Buddhist teaching, but many people misunderstand them. They think letting go means giving up. They think it means doing nothing and just accepting defeat. So when they hear these words, they actually feel uncomfortable. You want me to just let go of all the pain I have been through. You want me to just forget what happened to me. This kind of resistance is natural, but letting go is not giving up. Letting go is not forgetting. Letting go means not allowing it to control you anymore. It does not mean erasing the memory of the past. It means not letting that memory push you around in the present. It does not mean completely removing all worry about the future. It means not letting that worry steal the peace of this moment. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are walking while carrying a very heavy load. The load is so heavy that your shoulders ache. Your steps slow down and walking itself becomes painful. But you can put that load down. You can simply set it down on the ground. Putting it down does not make the load disappear. It is still there, but your shoulders are lighter. You can walk freely again. That is what letting go means. It does not mean making the load disappear. It means deciding that you will no longer carry it. There is a story in Buddhist teaching. Two monks were walking along a road. When they reached a river, they found a woman who could not cross. One of the monks carried the woman across the river on his back. After they parted with the woman, the monks continued walking. After a long while, the other monk spoke up. Monks are not supposed to touch a woman. Why did you carry her? The monk who had carried the woman replied, I put her down at the river. Are you still carrying her? This story shows the true nature of letting go. The event is already over, but the mind has not finished with it yet. The body has already left that place, but the mind is still there. That is what it means to not let go. The opposite of that, letting go, means when something is over, letting the mind be over with it too, leaving what is past in the past and bringing the mind back to the present. But why is letting go so difficult? It is because letting go takes courage. Letting go of the past means no longer holding on to that version of yourself. Letting go of worry about the future means trusting that it is okay, even if you do not control everything. This is not easy. We like certainty. Accepting uncertainty is frightening. But the Buddha taught that accepting that very uncertainty is where true freedom begins. The wisdom of letting go does not come overnight. It is a daily practice. It starts with letting go of small things. If something someone said today hurt your feelings, notice that feeling and try to release it. If you are worried about something tomorrow, notice that worry and come back to this moment. As you practice letting go of small things one by one, you gradually become able to let go of bigger things too. And each time you let go, the mind becomes that much lighter. When the mind becomes lighter, the present begins to come into view. When the present comes into view, life begins to change. Yes, at the end of letting go, there is the present. When you let go of the past and let go of the future, what remains is this moment right now. And this moment holds an incredible power. When you let go of the past and release your worry about the future, something appears before you. It is the present. This moment, right now, this simple, ordinary thing is actually the most precious thing we have. Everyone knows the word present. Live in the now, focus on the present, enjoy today. You can hear these words everywhere. But very few people actually live in the present. That is because very few people truly understand what it means to live in the present. Living in the present does not simply mean enjoying your day. Living in the present means that your mind is fully awake in this moment. What are you doing right now? You are watching this video. You are listening to this voice. You are sitting in a chair, or lying in bed, or walking somewhere while listening. Right now, your body is here. But where is your mind? Are you perhaps thinking about something else while watching this video? Are you going over something that happened today? Or thinking about something you have to do tomorrow? If so, your body is in the present, but your mind is not. Being in the present means that your body and mind are in the same place. Knowing you are eating when you eat, knowing you are walking when you walk, knowing you are breathing when you breathe. Something this simple is what it means to live in the present. But why is this simple thing so hard? It is because our minds have not been trained to stay in the present. Our minds are always running somewhere, running to the past or running to the future. Staying still in the present feels boring to the mind. It feels like nothing is happening. But the truth is the opposite. When you are fully in the present, that is when you are truly alive. The Buddha said, do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. This is not just simple advice. This is the heart of awakening. What the Buddha discovered, what he found under the Bodhi tree, was the truth of this present moment. Both the past and the future are created by the mind. The only thing that truly exists is this moment right now. The past is memory, the future is imagination. The only thing that is real is the present. When you understand this deeply, life changes completely. When you are fully present in this moment, small things begin to look beautiful. The warmth of a cup of coffee in the morning, the sunlight coming through the window, the leaves swaying in the wind, the voice of someone you love. These things were always there. But when the mind was wandering in the past and future, they were invisible. When the mind is in the present, all of these things begin to appear. And when you can see them, you are already happy enough. This is the power of the present. You do not need anything special. You do not need to have more. You do not need to become someone greater. Right now, in this moment, being who you are, where you are, fully feeling your life as it is. That is the power of the present, and that is the way of life the Buddha taught. But here a question may come up. I understand that staying in the present is good, but why does the mind keep running to the past and future? Why can the mind not just stay still in the present? The mind wandering is a natural thing. If you leave the mind alone, it drifts from one place to another on its own. It brings up something that happened earlier. Imagine something that is about to happen. And sometimes a completely unrelated memory pops up out of nowhere. This is not because there is something wrong with your mind. The mind is simply built that way. It has been designed to move since the day you were born. There are reasons why the mind wanders. First, the mind is a tool designed for survival. Think about a very long time ago when human beings lived in the wild. People were constantly exposed to danger. A predator could appear at any time. Food had to be found, and safe shelter had to be located. If the mind had stayed only in the present moment back then, it would have been difficult to survive. The mind had to constantly recall past experiences to avoid repeating the same mistakes, and it had to predict dangers that might come in the future. The mind going back and forth between past and future was a survival function. But now things are different. Most people no longer need to run from predators. The worry of starving is far less. People live in safe homes, yet the mind still operates the old way. Even when there is no danger, the mind keeps searching for danger. It worries about things that will probably never happen and brings back problems that have already been solved. The survival function of the mind is running on overdrive. The mind also craves stimulation. Staying still in the present moment does not give the mind enough stimulation. So the mind creates its own. Pulling out past memories or imagining future scenarios is the mind's way of creating stimulation for itself. Especially in modern society, stimulation comes constantly. Notifications from smartphones, social media feeds, breaking news. A mind accustomed to all this stimulation becomes uneasy when there is none. That is why simply sitting still and doing nothing becomes harder and harder. There is yet another reason the mind wanders, and it is about identity. We define ourselves through our past memories. I was born here, I went to this school, I had this career, I met these people, I experienced these successes and failures. All of these come together to form who we believe we are. So letting go of the past can feel like losing ourselves. Plans and goals for the future work the same way. Without the image of who we want to become, life can feel directionless. The mind's inability to let go of past and future is, in a way, an inability to let go of the self. The Buddha pointed directly at this. What we hold on to as me, he said, is not a solid thing. The self built from past memories, the self built from future plans, all of it is just a story the mind has created. The real you is the being that is right here, right now, in this moment, breathing, seeing, hearing, feeling, without any story of the past or the future, just being here as you are. That is who you truly are. The wandering of the mind is natural, but noticing when the mind wanders is practice. Noticing that the mind has gone to the past, noticing that the mind has gone to the future, that very noticing is the first step back to the present. So how exactly can we come back to the present? The way to come back to the present is simpler than you might think. You do not need to learn complicated methods. You do not need to go to a special place, and you do not need to spend a lot of time. The most basic way to come back to the present is through your breath. Noticing that you are breathing. This is the beginning of mindfulness, and the most certain way to return to the present. Try it right now. Breathe in and feel the breath coming in. Feel the air entering through your nose. Feel your chest rising. Then breathe out and feel the breath leaving. The moment you pay attention to your breathing, your mind is in the present. Thoughts about the past and worries about the future disappear in that moment of focusing on the breath. Anapanasati, the mindfulness of breathing that the Buddha taught, is the most basic and yet the most powerful form of practice. The breath is always in the present. There is no past breath or future breath. The breath exists only in this moment, right now. So when you pay attention to the breath, you naturally come back to the present. Of course, even when you try to focus on the breath, the mind quickly runs away to somewhere else. You are breathing and suddenly something from yesterday pops up, or something you need to do tomorrow comes to mind, or a completely unrelated thought appears. That is natural. We talked about how the mind wandering is a normal thing. What matters is not that the mind stops wandering, but that you notice when it has wandered. The moment you notice, you are back in the present. The noticing itself is the present. Practice this a little bit every day. In the morning when you wake up, sit quietly for just 5 minutes and watch your breathing. Just observe the breath coming in and going out. Do not try to change anything. Do not try to control anything. Just watch. If the mind goes somewhere else, notice that and gently bring it back to the breath. Do not blame yourself. The mind wandering is natural. Just notice and come back. There are other ways to come back to the present besides breathing. When you walk, feel your feet touching the ground. When you eat, fully taste the food and feel its texture. When you talk to someone, give that person your full attention. When you take a shower, feel the water touching your body. In these small, everyday moments, you can practice bringing your mind to the present. You do not need to set aside special time. Life itself becomes the place of practice. Mindfulness is simply knowing what is happening right now as it is, without judging, without interpreting, without trying to change anything, just noticing things as they are. When sadness comes, noticing that sadness has come. When joy comes, noticing that joy has come. When worry arises, noticing that worry has arisen. And within that noticing, stepping back and watching, seeing that I am not the sadness itself, but the being who is feeling the sadness. Seeing that I am not the worry itself, but the being who is noticing the worry. This small gap, this small space between the emotion and myself is where freedom begins. When we are completely lost in an emotion, we are dragged around by it. But when we notice the emotion, we stand in a place where we can watch it. That place is the present, and from that place we can finally choose. Will I fall into regret about the past? Will I fall into worry about the future? Or will I fully live this moment right now? As you keep practicing coming back to the present, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to grow quiet. The noisy thoughts settle down, the restless emotions calm, and a wide open space appears in the mind. In that space, we discover peace. And that peace did not come from somewhere else. It was there all along. Many people spend their lives searching for peace. If I get a better job, my mind will be at ease. If I make more money, I will stop worrying when I retire. I will finally be able to rest. Once this problem is solved, everything will be fine. People place peace somewhere in the future and run toward it. But when they arrive at that future, peace is not there. Because the moment they arrive, that future has already become the present. And the mind starts running toward a new future, peace all over again. Searching for peace is like chasing your own shadow. No matter how fast you run, the shadow stays the same distance away. Because the shadow comes from you, peace is the same. Peace is not something you have to go somewhere to find. Peace is already inside you. The Buddha said that nirvana is not far away. He said that awakening is not something you reach by going somewhere. It is already here, in this moment, in this very mind. We simply cannot see it. Because it is hidden behind our thoughts of the past and future. Just as the sky is always there, even when clouds cover it, the natural peace of the mind is always there, even when thoughts and emotions cover it. Experience this for yourself. Close your eyes for a moment right now. I am not telling you to stop thinking. If thoughts come up, let them come. Just do not follow them. When a thought comes up, notice that it came, and simply stay still. Feel your breathing and rest in this moment. Even 30 seconds is enough. In that short time, you can experience a small taste of peace. And that peace did not come from outside. It was always inside you. It was simply hidden behind all the busy thoughts. The peace we are looking for does not come when conditions are right. Peace exists regardless of conditions. Whether the weather's good or bad, the sky is always there. Whether your situation is good or bad, the peace of the mind is always there. Discovering this is not about gaining something new. It is about seeing what is already there. Many people expect special experiences when they meditate. They expect to see some kind of light, or feel a rush of joy, or suddenly reach enlightenment. But the real experience of meditation is not dramatic like that. The real experience of meditation is very quiet. It may seem like nothing is happening, but actually the most important thing is happening. The mind is staying in the present moment. It is not being pulled around by the past and future. It is fully here, right now. That is the greatest experience of all. And this peace is not something that can only be experienced on a meditation cushion. You can experience it in everyday life. When you open your eyes in the morning, lie in bed for a moment and feel your breathing in this present moment. On your way to work, look up at the sky and notice the sky right now. At lunch, fully taste your food. When you feel this present moment in the small moments of everyday life, small peace comes each time. And those small moments of peace add up and change your whole life. When you know that peace is right here, right now, your relationship with the past changes too. The past is no longer something that torments you. It becomes the road you have walked. And on that road, you learn how to live without regret. Living without regret does not mean never making mistakes. A life without mistakes is impossible. Everyone makes wrong choices. Everyone says foolish things. Everyone does things they wish they had done differently when they look back. That is unavoidable as long as you are alive. Living without regret does not mean never making mistakes. It means changing your attitude toward mistakes. When we regret a mistake from the past, we are judging our past self by our present standards. The person you were back then did not know as much as you know now. The person you were back then did not have the experience you have now. The person you were back then did the best they could in that situation. Even if that best looks small when you look back at it now, it was the best you had at the time. Accepting this is the first step toward making peace with the past. In Buddhist teaching, the word compassion comes up often. Compassion is not just for other people. Compassion must also be given to yourself. Looking at your past self with compassionate eyes, understanding and forgiving who you were, then that is what letting go looks like in practice. How can your mind be at peace if you cannot forgive yourself? Forgiving yourself may be harder than forgiving others, but that is exactly why it matters more. Living without regret also means fully living this present moment. It means putting your heart into the choices you make right now. It means being sincere with the people you meet right now. It means doing your best at what you are doing right now. If you give your full heart to the present moment, then, no matter what the outcome turns out to be later, there will be nothing to regret. Regret usually comes when we did not give our full effort. When we could have done something but did not. When we could have said something but did not. When we could have loved but did not. So the secret to a life without regret is not in the future. It is in this moment right now. Life comes only once. This moment will never come again. This moment of breathing, this moment of listening, this moment of being alive will never return. When you know this deeply, you naturally give more of your heart to the present. And the more you give your heart to the present, the less you regret the past and the less you worry about the future. Because you have the confidence that you are living this moment fully. And when you live each day fully in the present, your whole life changes. You are no longer running in a hurry. You begin to feel each step as you walk. You are no longer chasing more. You begin to deeply feel what you already have. You are no longer comparing yourself to others. You begin to walk at your own pace. This is a life without regret, and this is a life of freedom. When you let go of regret about the past, and let go of worry about the future and fully live this present moment, a deep stillness comes to the mind. Thank you for being here with me this far. We have taken a long journey together. We looked at the mind trapped in the past and examined the fear of a future that has not come. We understood how the desire to control creates suffering, and we talked about the wisdom of letting go. We discovered the power of the present and learned why the mind wanders. We learned practical ways to come back to the present, and we realized that peace is already inside us. And we talked about how living without regret means giving your full heart to this moment. All of this points to one place: a quiet mind. A quiet mind does not mean a mind that has no thoughts. It does not mean a mind that has no feelings. A quiet mind is a mind that is not pulled away. When thoughts come and not swept away when emotions come, like the deep ocean that stays calm even while storms rage on the surface, thoughts and emotions rise and fall on the surface of the mind. But deep down there is a stillness that does not change. When you meet this stillness, life changes. You experience the same events but receive them differently. When something good happens, you accept it with gratitude but without clinging. When something hard happens, you go through it fully, but do not stay stuck in it. When joy comes, you feel the joy. When sadness comes, you feel the sadness, but you are not trapped by either. You let everything flow like a river. That is the wisdom of a quiet mind. A quiet mind is not a numb mind. It is the opposite. A quiet mind feels more clearly. When the mind is noisy, you cannot see the beautiful things right in front of you. You cannot hear the birds outside your window. But when the mind grows quiet, small things become vivid. A single breeze, a single leaf, a single smile from someone you love. You finally see how beautiful they are. A quiet mind is a clear eye that sees the world as it truly is. What the Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree was this very stillness. When all disturbance settled, when all clinging fell away, when the mind became completely still, truth was right there. That truth is not complicated. Everything changes. Clinging brings suffering, and there is a path out of that suffering. These simple truths became perfectly clear inside a quiet mind. You too can meet this stillness. It is not something only special people can do. It is not something that requires decades of practice. Right now, in this moment, breathing, looking inward, staying present, the stillness begins with this small step. And that stillness gradually deepens and widens until it holds your entire life. Do not dwell on the past. What has gone is gone. No matter how beautiful it was, no matter how painful it was, it is already over. Do not worry about the future. What has not come will be met when it comes. The only thing you can do right now is live this moment fully. The Buddha said, do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. This is everything we have shared together in this video today. A teaching that is simple but deep. A teaching that looks easy but needs daily practice. A teaching that can completely change your life. If your mind feels even a little lighter right now, that is enough. Remember this lightness. And when your mind starts running to the past again, or racing toward the future, remember the lightness of this moment and come back to the present. Through the breath to this moment, to right here. A quiet mind is not far away. A quiet mind is already here, inside you right now. You just have to discover it. And that discovery can begin in this very moment. May your day be peaceful. May you put down the weight of the past, release the worry of the future, and rest in the stillness of this present moment. Thank you.